Which NFL team has waited longest since their last chance to win the Super Bowl? In today's video, we'll be looking at the last time every single team went to the Super Bowl and be listing them from soonest to longest since their last chance to win the Lombardi. Of course, you know the Chiefs have won the last 2 Super Bowls, beating the 49ers and Philadelphia Eagles. Lucky me, I got to be at one of them and be very close in a hotel room nearby after getting kicked out of Caesar's Palace in Vegas for another.
I promise you next year we'll be at home and we're going for that 3-piece.
We're going to be talking about the playoff teams who have a shot at this year's Super Bowl first. The next playoff team on this list are the Philadelphia Eagles. It's been 2 years since they took a trip to the Super Bowl, that same Super Bowl that I was just mentioning, that I was at, that I still feel like the refs took away the chance for the Eagles to respond after that field goal, kind of ruining the ending of one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. Because even if the Eagles didn't get it, it still would have been an epic finish, better than finishing on a penalty. The next playoff team that's been waiting the longest is the Los Angeles Rams, who have only been waiting 4 years. Remember, they had that Super Bowl win at home against the Cincinnati Bengals, who were unable to squeak into the playoffs this year. The one team that knows what it's like to take down the Kansas City Chiefs and prevent them from winning this year's Super Bowl is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who beat the Kansas City Chiefs in 2020. It was that COVID year where Tom Brady won the Super Bowl and LeBron James won the NBA title. The Chiefs just did not have the offensive linemen in this game to stop the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rush. So the Bucks now, half a decade since that Super Bowl win, making me feel old. The Denver Broncos are the next playoff team that's waited the longest since their last chance to win the Super Bowl. And this goes all the way back to the sheriff, Peyton Manning. Remember when he went to the Denver Broncos after the Colts kicked him out of town? The Indianapolis Colts are great at making decisions as an organization. And the Broncos went on to defeat MVP Cam Newton in Super Bowl 50 10 years ago. 3 years before that, our next playoff team comes up in the Super Bowl history books. The Baltimore Ravens, the year they beat Jim Harbaugh in the Har Bowl. This one has a soft spot in my heart. Even before Harbaugh came to the Chargers, this was my favorite Super Bowl of all time that I got to watch happen live. Ray Lewis went out on his shield and went out a champion. And the game was so exciting, it knocked the lights out of the stadium. So 13 years for the Ravens. Damn, they had Lamar Jackson for the last half decade plus. Next up, this one may surprise you because you kind of associate this team with the Super Bowl. It's been 15 years since we've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers have a chance to raise the trophy, when they played another playoff team in their last Super Bowl appearance, also the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger went at it for the sport's grandest prize in 2010. And it was a great game. The Steelers had a chance to win it late and turn the ball over. And Aaron Rodgers, who led his team to 300 yards, would win his only Super Bowl in what's looking like, if he retires this year, his only chance at the Super Bowl. Which is my whole point of this video, how hard it is. Someone like Aaron Rodgers, who spent 20 years at the top of the sports game at quarterback, only made it to 1 Super Bowl.
It started off with Bart Starr, and then, of course, it went to Brett Favre, and now you, Aaron.
Texans are up next, and they're an interesting one because they have never appeared in a Super Bowl in their franchise's history. Now, their franchise's history is only 23 years old. They were founded in 2002. Texans haven't even made a conference title game in that time, so how special would it be for them to go on a run? My LA Chargers are up next, and I'll just be honest right here to put into context how long it's been since my Chargers have had a chance to win the Super Bowl. I am 27 years old right now, and the last Chargers Super Bowl appearance was in 1994, 31 years ago. My Chargers have won plenty of playoff games in my lifetime, so we aren't as bad as the frickin' Raiders. But yeah, it's been tough to be a Chargers fan in my life. And in that Super Bowl, of all teams to lose to, we got blown out by Steve Young and the 49ers. One of the best teams ever, in my opinion, that 1994-1995 San Francisco team. They had Deion Sanders, Jerry Rice, Steve Young. That entire roster was loaded up. They just smoked my poor Stan Humphrey-led Chargers. And we've been waiting 30 years since. Just as long as the Buffalo Bills, who have been waiting 32 years. Because the year before my last Chargers Super Bowl was the last Buffalo Bills Super Bowl run in their 4 straight Super Bowl losses. Yes, if you didn't know, the Buffalo Bills back in the 90s and late 80s lost 4 straight Super Bowls. And they've been waiting 32 years to even get another chance at one. The Washington Commanders are the next playoff team that's been waiting the longest. Ironically, a few years before the Buffalo Bills, because they were one of the teams to beat the Buffalo Bills in those 4 straight Super Bowl losses. 1999, the Washington Redskins at the time defeated the Buffalo Bills for the Lombardi. But imagine being the Minnesota Vikings and waiting 50 years in between Super Bowl appearances. In the 60s and 70s, the Vikings were one of the most dominant teams in the league. They went to 4 or 5 Super Bowls in this time span, but couldn't win any, just like the Buffalo Bills. Their last Super Bowl appearance was in 1976, 49 years ago, when they lost to the Oakland Raiders 32-14. The Vikings got nothing on the playoff team with the longest Super Bowl drought. The team that's never been to the Super Bowl before, and I'll tell you which team it is, but first, if you never met me before, hi, I'm NFLMike, an NFL content creator that creates NFL content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and twice on Sundays. If you're an NFL fan, I know you'll love the channel. Make sure you're subscribed before we forget. Help me get to my goal of 15,000 subscribers. We're knocking on the door. And then before you forget, also while you're there, make sure you like the video. It's the free way you can support all of my videos, and tell the YouTube algorithm to send this thing out to more NFL fans like me and you. If you want even more bonus NFL content, go and follow me on all platforms. I post more on Instagram than I do any other platform. Also, before I reveal the team with the longest Super Bowl drought, here are the rest of the team in the league's Super Bowl droughts as of today. We have some lengthy ones on here. You see the Minnesota Vikings listed there at 49, but man, it's been 57 years since the Jets have went to the Super Bowl. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to fix that anytime soon. Some non-playoff teams that have been waiting since the 90s, like the Titans, or even Miami Dolphins, have been waiting since the 80s. One thing I like to see, it's been 23 years since the Las Vegas Raiders have touched the Super Bowl. The team that's been waiting longest for a chance to raise it to the sky is the Detroit Lions, who have been in the NFL since 1928. Now, I know the Super Bowl era didn't start until the late 1960s, but just keep in mind, if you include that time before the merger, the Lions technically have been waiting almost 100 years for a Super Bowl. 97 years since 1928 to be exact. Moral of the story, it's really hard to win it all in this league. And who knows, all of these playoff teams' final chance at a Super Bowl for the next 50 or 100 years could be this year. Who will snap their Super Bowl drought? I guess sooner rather than later. The talent on the field and the ball won't lie.
Everybody's pumped up for the big game. What are you expecting?
Shoot, a bigger game. Two good teams. Yeah, I ain't got much to say, man. Wish we were there.
Bill Flames, I went Mike on the mic. Yep. With something brand new, one time for your mind. He gave you fair warning. Now it's time to smack him in the mouth with that raw sports talk from the town. Sweet chin music to your favorite sportscaster.